Hello everybody, welcome to ICC's Game of the Day. I'm Grandmaster Joel Benjamin, and today I have for you round 8 from the Gashimov Memorial in Azerbaijan. Going into today, Fabiano-Caruana led with an excellent score of 5.5 out of 7, but Eljanov-Giri was right on his heels. It's 5 points. Now, the two top scorers had the most interesting games today, the most action in their games. And we'll get to that shortly, but first a bit about the other 3 games. First of all, Mamedyarov against Eljanov. Mamedyarov sacrificed a pawn early. Eljanov gave it back and got to kind of a boringish opposite-colored bishop position, which they dragged on through the ending and agreed to draw. Somewhat more interesting was Radjabov against Harikrishna. The most interesting thing about it was there was a moment where Radjabov accepted doubled isolated e-pawns early in the endgame to trade off Harikrishna's bishop pair, and although Harikrishna could exploit them because he had a bad bishop, Radjabov didn't have any hopes of winning the ending with such weak pawns either. So that was also drawn without much excitement. So we're going to have a look at the third game, which was very promising. It turned out to be only of interest in the opening. But let's look a little bit at Safarli Karjakin. Okay, c4, but don't let that fool you. This is going to be a Caro-Kann. It transposes into Panov attack in the Caro-Kann. And this is a variation where white can play knight f3, and then after bishop g4 leads to a long endgame. But the other option for white is to play bishop to g5. And Karjakin goes for bishop e6, which is a very interesting kind of sharp line. Safarli plays bishop e2, and the idea is that he wants to get at the d5 square. He's trying to break down black's blockade. But Karjakin is not concerned about this apparent win of a piece with d5. He's got castles pinning, but there's more tactics now because now white breaks the pin with bishop d2. And black has 2 pieces attack, so he's got to take the pawn. Now this position is known. It's occurred a few times before. After rook takes d5, black is sacrificing the exchange. And the games that I've seen before, white took the queen, accepted the exchange in that fashion. And here, okay, it's an ending where black has 2 pawns for an exchange, normally pretty good. White, one game white played knight e2, another game white played bishop d5. White won both games, but one that it was a rapid game, and I think that black's play could certainly be improved. This position is fine for black. But what Safarli did seems to be an unprovement. He just seemed to be unfamiliar with his opening variation, which is a bit surprising. And he took this rook, and after queen takes d5, now black has nice bishop pair, great control of the light squares, and it really looks like a better position for black. First, he's got to get the bishop out of the way. He could go bishop g4 is not a bad move, but I think he felt that that bishop is so strong he doesn't want to exchange it for a knight under any circumstances. So he played bishop f5. It's good. Castles. And now e6 was a little too cautious, I think. Though Karjakin had a lot of time to think about it. He probably should have played e5. Perhaps he wasn't anticipating that Safarli would want to try to open lines with b3. But in this one, he can play a little bit along the lines of what he ended up doing. But in this variation, black seems to have a clear advantage because the white pieces just don't have any squares. And although black only has 1 pawn now, his piece is going to be coming out. He's already threatening e4. The knight, white has to create a square, and the black pieces are going to be kind of dominant. That wasn't necessary.